Hey, what's up? Jordan here. Here to talk about the Commencal meta build. This video, I'm just going to quickly focus on the frame and the detail of the frame, as it's the last time we're probably going to see it in this shape before I start building it. So not quite sure if I'm going to do a build video yet or not. I don't really have any help. I'm really only good with one arm right now, so we'll see what happens. I did get a couple stands and stuff like that. I just don't know how that's all gonna go. I am excited to shoot on my Galaxy S21 Ultra in the 4K mode, in the 60 frame mode, so I'm super excited to see how the quality of the video looks on this bad boy. So let's switch over to the bikes. There it is, that bad boy. Anyway, let's just talk about this really quick because I want to. This is my Ragley hardtail. I did finish up a little bit of maintenance on that bad boy. New grips, new hoses, new cables all around. Took the bottom bracket all the way apart. Greased it all up. New pedals. I haven't put the new studs in the pedals yet. Taped the back of the brakes. Brand new SRAM GX derailleur up there. Can't really see it, but man, that thing was a piece of cake to install. I did take some time to actually research on how to do that, and it is a piece of cake. I mean, I'm starting to think that all of the times I've ever had issues with the derailleur is probably due to like bad bearings, bad jockey wheel bearings, or a bad hanger. So, I mean, it was a piece of cake to set up. It goes through all 12 speeds, and yeah, I'm waiting on one more piece for the forks before I can actually complete the build of that bike. But anyway, I had to get that out of the way first just to kind of get in the rhythm of working on bikes again. It's been just a few months since I've been able to move with my collarbone injury. So anyway, let's just focus on the frame here. That's really what this video is about. Again, I ordered this in November 2020. I got it in the second week of May 2021. So about whatever the math is on that, 5-6 months. Yep, good job, Jordan. Anyway, again, this is the best build, the best built aluminum frame bike that I've ever physically seen in my presence ever. The quality, the craftsmanship, every weld, every bolt, the paint is perfect. Trying to focus on individual sections here just to kind of get a good look at everything before, like I said, I start to go to town on this and do the build piece. Again, the guys at Commencal were amazing. I'm not exaggerating. I have 70 emails in my Gmail specifically about this bike, and they answered every question at latest the next day. But yeah, so just kind of looking over the frame here. I do have it kind of gently clamped into the stand here. I know that that's not the ideal way of, clamping your bike in, but again, I didn't want to put anything on it yet. I just wanted a clean video of the actual frame itself. So, all right, we had a neighbor rip open his lawnmower here, so not as good of light, but still good enough. Anyway, so just continuing on, Commencal, the company, amazing, absolutely amazing. Cannot speak, of them highly enough. Build quality here, amazing. Let's just take a look around here. So when you look at this online and you see kind of how beefy everything is, the bars, the diameter of everything, and then from like afar you see this little teeny, bottom bracket. It looks kind of small, right? Let me just take a step back. In light of the whole frame, gotta watch out for my wheels there. In light of the whole frame, it looks kind of chintzy, right? It looks like it's just, how is that gonna support your bike? Until I got the bike here, in my hands and able to actually touch and feel, what's going on. So let's just take a look at that really quick. Come over here to my caliper here. If you take a look at the welds, okay, amazing, beefy, huge welds. Then take a look at the caliper reading on this. Now, this is not a micrometer, whatever. Crap. Let's go ahead and I don't have enough hands for this. Focus. There you go. I'm just gonna have to tell you because I can't focus on it. It's 3.1 millimeters on there. Let's try to get this in a little bit deeper. You can see that the deeper in, I'll pull that out, that's 4. So it goes from 3.3 and then it graduates to a 4 millimeter thickness in there. So that is pretty beefy. I am not worried at all whatsoever. I'm just merely making an observation of what that looks like in light of the whole frame, right? So that was my initial thoughts, again, until I got the frame in hand. Let's take a look at this back here. Early on, when the 2021s came out, they didn't have the frames, and I think this is normal or this could be due to COVID, but they didn't have the frames on hand in order to do photo shoots. So they had to do 3D renders. And it looked like this piece was a bolt-on in the 3D render, but the article said that the frame itself calls for a 200 or 203 millimeter rotor minimum, right? So if you see this bolted on there, you immediately think, oh, they have their literature wrong. It's actually a 180 post mount. You know, so what's the deal? And that's when they basically confirm, because like I'm buying parts, right? Like I'm going crazy trying to get all of these parts, you know, that you see here over the course of, you know, several months. You can't really see everything, but anyway. So I got to make sure that every part is right, every part is correct. And that's when they told me that this was a 3D render on their site. And I think that honestly still have that listed under the frame builds, where this looks like a separate piece. So just a little interesting tidbit. The frame itself does call for a 203. Just kind of looking at some of these holes and kind of carve outs here in the frame. These are thick. The welds are just beefy, oversized. So when I had the RockShox Zeb, remember I originally bought this bike thinking that I was gonna get the all-mountain version, which is the Enduro. Remember, it's longer, about a degree more slack, and calls for longer travel in the back and longer travel in the front. So I had the RockShox Zeb Ultimate, and that fork calls for a 200 millimeter rotor minimum as well. So I was really excited about that when I had that shock, you know, on hand. Both the frame and the shock would call for that. So when I decided to go to the trail version, because remember, I don't need that much travel. I'm not super enduro. I do a couple enduro rides, but that's just not my main type of riding. I was kind of bummed out to find out that the Fox 36 takes a 180 millimeter rotor instead of the 200 or 203. And so that's just kind of a bummer to me. So I did have to get an adapter bracket for that. I just thought it would be cool to just have 200 all the way around. Not a huge deal. The Fox 36 is going to be badass. Well, we have the caliper out. Look at the thickness of this. Focus, Jordan, focus. So here, let me get it squarely on. It's about 4.3, 4.4 millimeters. Oop, there's the camera. 4.5 maybe. This is not an official measurement. This thing is garbage. But damn, like that is thick, that is beefy. This frame ain't going nowhere. All of the cutouts here, this stuff is like, I don't know how they did this, but you don't see any of the welds here. Like you see all these welds, right? You know that these gotta be welded in. They're probably welded from the back and then filled in and then maybe sanded. That's a total guess. I know nothing about how to build frames or any of that, but usually what you see is you see a hole cut out that's flush with the frame and then an insert that goes into there. Well, this has like a protruding hole and it still has the inserts. So I think that's pretty damn cool. I don't know how you manufacture something like that. So obviously we're taking full advantage of this badass camera here, getting some of that detail. That's really what I want to focus on because my mind is blown on just the level of detail on this frame. So just kind of like going down the frame here. Let's see here. So same deal on these screws, if we can get them in focus. There's obviously, it's almost like a washer was welded on. It's obviously a grommet. There's something probably on the back of it that's holding that in, but you don't see where the connection is made. So maybe it's just paint, right? Maybe they just painted over it and sanded the paint or filled it. I have no idea. Maybe it's Bondo and then painted over. Either way, it looks phenomenal. There's just nothing wrong with this damn thing. Nothing. Look at those beefy welds. So let's take a look at the diameter of the seat tube. You're like, nobody does this. Well, I do. Or I am, I should say. So 2.1 millimeters here, girthy. I want to say that's a lot fatter than my Ragley and the Marin up there, just from working with those. Anyway, why wouldn't it be? This is basically the little brother, or it's basically like Commencal themselves calls it the mini enduro. And by mini, that just means less travel. Like I said, it is pretty much the same bike, except for the top tube and down tube are slightly longer on the enduro version, and it's a half or a whole degree more slack. I was riding super slack on that bike, and I don't love it. It's great. It is very comfortable. It feels great going downhill. It really actually, to me, only feels really good at speed. And so I find that the most of my riding, I don't prefer that. So this was a better choice for me. But anyway, this is their mini enduro. So the point is why wouldn't it be ultra beefy? Why wouldn't it be super thick all over with big, huge, beefy welds, right? Let's take a look at this molded on, rubber chainstay protector. Beautiful job. Came on the frame. Everything you see right here is literally like just as it came from the factory. So nothing has been changed or modified, and that's why I'm taking this more for like my own documentation purposes. But I also found that there was a lack of this type of video out there that kind of went through the detail of, what you're gonna get. Most of the shopping I do is on my mobile phone, and I can't go to a desktop computer and look at those full-size, high-resolution pictures every time I want to see something. And I want to say that even their website didn't have this level of detail on the pictures as far as like all the curves and the welds, bearings, all that stuff. So this guy right here, awesome. Again, came on the frame. The frame protector that I'm using is, I think it's a 6-piece kit. It's called the Frame Keeper. I didn't want to go with a custom kit because I've had a couple friends who've used those and they just have bubbles all over them, and they're really hard to get perfect. And for me, that's one of those things that you'd have to get perfect. And for me, if it wasn't perfect, I would redo it, which would cost me money. So I chose not to get that. I feel like this has enough protection on it already. So I'm obviously just going to be covering up all these bare parts, top tube, down tube. It comes with 4, between chainstay and seat stay protectors, it comes with 4 pieces. So I'm obviously have enough to cover all the bare metal on this, including probably the bottom back of this bad boy right here, the seat tube. So anyway, this is a lot longer video than I was anticipating, but hopefully you can kind of see, the quality of this frame and be as excited about it as I am. And probably the last time we'll see it before I start putting parts on it. So, bam.